Hi, it's Donna. Let me make sure it's on. Okay, it says it's on. So I wanted to go through and do a video on the memory work that I do in the morning with the kids. And it is, it takes me 3 minutes a day, 3 minutes, and it costs me $15 a year. That's it. So it's so super valuable for us, and we love it. And it, I will say that I don't use anything 100%. I do a little bit of everything. I just use what's valuable for my kids, and I think most people do too. Okay, just making sure I didn't hit the button. So I think most people do too. So this is, you can add this to anything and it would be useful. It doesn't have to go along with anything, and I struggled with that. But for 3 minutes a day, it's pretty useful. So it's based on The Well-Trained Mind by Susan Wise Bauer and Jessie Wise. Jessie Wise is her daughter. So this is, she was a woman who educated at public school for 6 years and came home and educated her kids in the 80s when it was not quite legal yet. I don't think she knew exactly where it was. So classical education, today's classical education, breaks it up into 3 stages. They have the parrot stage, which is 1st through 4th grade, or kindergarten through 4th. And then they have the logic stage, which is 5th through 8th grade. The parrot stage is really, the grammar stage is like, they call it the parrot years, because that's where everybody's memorizing. They're memorizing and memorizing because, you know, they're little sponges and they can just memorize just anything. And you're like, how did you know that? And they don't know how they know it or what it means. But then they say that in the logic stage, they start to ask why. And I found that to be true with my children. They start to ask why this, and why did the Greeks and Romans have different names for their gods? And so then you have the rhetoric stage, which is, I'm trying to figure out why this is not, I don't know why it's not very, very clear. So anyway, the rhetoric stage is 9th through 12th grade, and maybe that one. Aha, okay. Okay, whatever. So the rhetoric stage is 9th through 12th grade, and now they're not asking why, they're telling you why, being able to argue a fact. I really like anything that makes my kids free thinkers, and to be able to tell you what it is and to question you. And I love this part of it. So she goes through her own uncharted territory with her own education, and she talks about the parrot years. Everybody always asks, what do I do with this little kid? The answer is right here. I can't tell you in the same way that she tells it. So she talks about how the brain works, how to teach him how to read, and she always says that it's so easy, and it really is. So like where Charlotte Mason tells you how the brain works and what really works for a right brain education, she's telling you the science behind it. And it kind of there's a lot of overlap between classical education and Charlotte Mason. So there's a lot of very similar things, and there's some things that are very in direct opposition. So you just kind of do what you think is right for your kid, and every kid is different, so there's no wrong way to do it. But these are really great. If you read The Home Education by Charlotte Mason, and you read at least, because I think I've only probably read this much of this book, and there's a lot left that I haven't even touched on. But if you would at least just do some of it, it would really expand your thinking. And I feel like if teachers have teaching days where they have to learn how to, teach your kids, we should kind of, at least know the best things that are out there. And it's so easy to learn these things. So I just like to do it. I would love to have a group of ladies that like to do this stuff. So she teaches you just about how to do everything that you can think of. I went to this group one time when I was first starting to homeschool, and they were inviting me to join, and I didn't join for my own personal reasons, but their kids just blew me away. Their kids could speak really well, and they were just so amazing. They were just really well-rounded, could sit down at a piano and play this like Mozart piece, and you're like, and they made it look so effortless. And that was what I was really drawn to that. And then I found out that they were classical education kids. They were classical conversations kids who didn't do classical conversations anymore. Now they just came home and found a group of ladies who wanted to do it together, and they followed The Well-Trained Mind. So there's something to this book. I haven't quite figured out what it is yet. I'm still learning. I think everybody is. That's really cool, honey. Can you take that away?
Let them.
Okay, they see it. Okay.
That's cool.
It is is cool. Go play with it away from me. So, oh, and so here she says that not everyone who uses this book will want to join the ranks of full-time homeschoolers, and she says that's okay, which is really cool. So she gives you information on how to supplement at home if you have a full-time student. So she goes through and teaches you how to do it. And what's really cool about this book is at the end of every chapter, she teaches you really what they're developmentally ready for at certain ages too. So kind of like teacher insider tricks, which is what I really like. So this one and this book she goes through at the very end, and she gives you resources. So where you're in these groups and they're selling all these books and you don't understand why some of them go so quickly and some of them don't sell at all. Most of the books that sell really well are on this list. So, and every single chapter has these. So like if I go to the end of this chapter, okay, so then she's got book lists in here. She's got all kinds of stuff that she used with her daughter that she found to were really good, really conducive to right brain thinking. So, and she doesn't say that in the book, but that's kind of what it is right brain thinking is the beauty side to education, not so much the analytical, but she gives quite a bit of analytical too. So there's quite a bit of memorization of facts in the beginning. I will say. So she finds value in throwing facts at them just only in the parrot years. And then she finds that they want to memorize the facts. So it's all about how to make it to where your kid loves it. So I have this just because it was $4 on a website, and I just was like, score. It's actually last year, so they change it a little bit every year. It's last year. So in the foundations, there's 3 cycles: cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 2, cycle 3, and each one of them have 24 weeks of memory work, and they take 3 minutes a day really to do just the memory work. This is the 4th edition, and the app's going to be the 5th edition. But the reason I got this is not to guide me, because I let my app guide me, but in the back, so cycle 1, cycle 2, and cycle 3, so you learn what they learn all the way through. But then they pull little ideas of things that will go right along with what they're learning in the same week, which is kind of cool. And they pull science projects out of Van Cleve's science experiment books, and they do tin whistle, which I want to do for Raina, because for Raina I have had a hard time teaching her how to sing anything on key. So I'm trying to not let her be tone deaf, which makes me really sad. So yes, they do tin whistle. So then they also have all kinds of neat little things in here that might go along with what you're teaching. So then and they have maps in the back, which is it's just neat to have. I haven't actually looked at it. So let me look at this. So this is my book that I created, and I'll show you how to create one. So I made this book, and this is exactly what the app looks like. You can find the app for $15.99 on the Google App Store if you have a Samsung, or you can get it on Apple, and it's $15.99 either way. And so I'm going to flip through and show you kind of what they learn. This is the first 6-7 weeks, I think. So I take a screenshot of what's in the app and I print it. So, and I don't do the Latin. So that's just something I don't do. So they put each song to a musical piece. It takes 25 seconds, 5 seconds to go through it. They learn the kingdoms of living things. The preposition song spreads over multiple weeks. So it's like 10 weeks of the preposition song, but they learn every preposition, which has been really useful in our grammar. And I wish I knew the prepositions and the helping verbs like they learn. They go through the history song. The history song is the history song that goes through, and they do the same history song every year. And it's a history song that goes through like the beginning of time to like 9/11, I think it ends at. And it's everything. It changes the way that I understand history myself. So it kind of puts it in a timeline so that they understand how the flow of time went. Because like I know who Queen Victoria is, but did I know that she was the queen during this, right? So it kind of was really cool. They memorized the first 5 commandments and some geography every week. And so week 2, they memorize So this is number 3 is to Jingle Bells. It goes 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. This one is This Old Man. To 4 is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. James has cut out a lot. It's given him a lot of confidence with his math. So, and I will say Raina already knows her math facts, and she doesn't even realize she knows them, which is really, really cool. They memorize the kingdoms of living things, and they continue with their preposition song. They continue with their timeline song, and then they learn the 6 through 10 commandments. They learn the geography, and then they chant their 5s for the next week. They do their 6s to 3 blind mice, 6, 12, 18, 24, and then they memorize parts of an animal cell. They continue with prepositions, continue with timeline song. Then they learn the Greek gods, Roman gods, Zeus, Jupiter, Hera, Juno. Then they learn this geography, and they learn their 7s and their 8s. And I just screenshot these and print them. I have to print 7 pieces of paper every week. And then they memorize the parts of a plant cell. They continue with prepositions. They continue with their timeline song. They memorize the 7 wonders of the ancient world, or the pyramids of Giza. This is geography for that week. They do their 9s, chant their 10s. They memorize the groups of invertebrates. They continue with prepositions, continue with history cards. They do the history sentence for this is the Romans. They do the the Egyptians. And then this is week 6. 11s, 12s, major vertebrates, continue with prepositions, continue with history cards, memorize some ancient Greeks and what they did. Then they do ancient Greece. And then we're doing, and I don't know where the coffee came from. It's probably come from me or Raina. It could be either one. We're both very, very accident prone. So animals reproduce in certain ways. Continue with prepositions. Continue with history cards. And they're learning about Hinduism versus Buddhism. They learn about Islam. They learn when it started, things like that. So that's what they learn for the first 7 weeks. So when you go through the app, you're going to get the song in the app for the math, and you're not going to have the song for science. So we either make up a song, or you can find songs on YouTube, save them to a playlist, and then you'll have them. So that's what I do. And we actually made up the song for this one. And you'll find that there's so many songs popping around that you can put it to the same song as another thing, and it will work out just fine. So this one we actually put to a different song, to the same song. The preposition song is on YouTube, and I'll share it below, to La Cucaracha, and it goes all the way through all of them in alphabetical order. And then the history song is on YouTube. So it's on YouTube, and it's separated into a playlist. So if you just want to listen to week 5, you can just listen to week 5. That you do get these. So you will get, and then you don't get the song for the geography. So you'll have to look up a science and a geography song each week. And then the rest of them are included in the app. And I will share a YouTube playlist I made of my kids doing it for the first 6 weeks, so you can see how it goes. And we literally just listen. We just go through the app. And that's it. That's really it. So you can, I had a lapse in judgment and bought some things from them. So I bought this. It's dry erase. It's neat. It's cool. You can get it done with an atlas. It's a blank one, and it's always blank, which is cool. It's neat, and it helps when we're doing our geography to see it. And I use it for everything. I don't just use it for this. So and then they have science cards. So their cards are cool because it's the same thing they learn, but they have information on the back, so you can keep going. And they actually have things that aren't in. So this is week 1, this is week 2, this is cycle 1, but it's just an extra fact. So it's there, but you don't actually go through it. It's an extra fact. And this is an extra fact, but this is the memorization of the parts of animal cells. That's week 3, and then this is week 4. So it gives you a little bit of information. So that's kind of what they're gonna learn about for the year, so you can kind of see. It's really cool, and the fact that it only takes 3 minutes is kind of a score for me. And then I bought the timeline cards. Each set of cards is like 15 bucks. The timeline cards go through and give you facts about what an empire, or just what each empire did, or what each little moment was. And so I'm going to flip through it so you can kind of see what the ancient world is. And then you have the medieval part, and it's all the same song. So, excuse me, don't get confused. It's all the same song. I'm going to kind of flip through these so you can see. But there's information. Council of Nicaea is where they wrote the Bible, or put what's in the Bible together. And then the other parts are, so there's 4 sets of timeline cards, but it's all the same song. They do the same song every year. This is all of the 3rd part of the song. And then this is the 4th part of the song. Okay, so it goes through everything. Everything. So they have Martin Luther King there and the Civil Rights Movement. They have everything. So they're walking on the moon. I'm trying to get to the end so you can see the end is September 11th. Then they start the presidents. So they start the presidents in the very end. So they memorize all of the presidents and what they did. Something specific about them on the back of the card. So, and that's it. But I just found it was really, really, really cool. So they have some, it's just really neat. So, I did get this, and if anybody knows how to use this, let me know. I have no idea what to do with this stuff. They're kind of neat, but I have no idea what to do with them. I thought it was going to be different than it is. I have no idea what it is. So, and it's not dictated in the app. So I'm going to add a link to the app, and I'm going to add a link to what else? Oh, My Kids Doing It, to show you what they're doing, and then I guess I can link some of the cards that are on here so you can see what those are. And I hope that helped. Thanks. Bye.